Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Nature Based Therapy podcast. I'm really excited to have as my first guest Peta Jay. Peta is from Nature Zen, and she was a finalist in the 2023 Outdoor Queensland Awards in Nature Based Therapy. So Peta's going to talk to us a little bit about her journey working as a nature-based therapist, and we're just going to have an informal conversation. That's what this podcast is all about. Really informal conversations about how nature has been therapist and teacher and how it's enhanced our life and how we share that experience with other people. So welcome to the show, Peta. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, inviting me on your very first podcast, and congratulations.
Thank you. And it wasn't recorded, but I just wanted to mention that Peter and I did a little bit of a grounding meditation before we came on, just to settle the nerves. And the grounding meditation that I guided us through, both of us, was just to feel rooted and grounded in nature and feel part of nature. And this is something I might record for another session so I can teach other people how to do that as well. So we're all in the Zen now, and I'm going to begin by asking my first question, which I have for you. And it's a question that I love to ask people, and I actually ask that in my course and also for people I work with, is what was your early childhood experience of being in nature?
So, nothing elaborate. Basically, I had a regular suburban childhood. So, being in creeks and finding tadpoles, being outdoors, swimming, as well as, playing all the outdoor sports, camping on holidays, houseboats. And I did have some special times at my grandparents' property. They had a 4-acre property where the kangaroos would come to the back fence, and it was lined with really huge pine trees. And I'd go along and collect all the pine cones for them. So that was a special memory, but basically nothing really um, special, just normal interactions with nature. And I think my love of nature actually came a bit later on when I was an adult, and developed when I was traveling around the world on all the holidays. But also, I was a police officer in Queensland, and I was deployed to a lot of different environments. So it was uh, an island, up in the Gulf of Carpentaria, really outback and remote communities, as well as coastal and city. So I got an opportunity to explore all of the different elements and natural environments, and they all had like a special charm about them.
Mm.
So, but yeah, it was really grounding when, particularly for the first time as, like a 22-year-old, being flown out to Mount Isa, never been out there before, and seeing all of the red, dusty dirt and the expansiveness of a little remote community out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, I didn't know it at the time, but I learnt that nature was just a place of I guess serenity, but also soothing. Any stress that I had at the time, I'd sit on the back veranda and watch huge ferocious storms coming on through. And yeah, it was just something that I guess brought that awe and wonder into my life. And I've learned to appreciate all of what nature has to offer.
Beautiful. And I love those storms in the northern part of Australia. They're just amazing, and it brings so much energy. And I think storms represent cleansing as well. So what led you? You touched a little bit on it, but what led you to bringing nature-based therapy into your life?
Yeah, honestly, I guess after my career, and I was looking for a way to heal the stress and the burnout that I was feeling. I had trusted all of the traditional medical m- modalities and also offerings, and just felt like I was on a I explain it as, I guess it's a term that I've sort of just come up with, but like a merry-go-round, but it's like a medical cycle, and you just can't get out of it. So once you're in there, you can't kind of get off and out. Yeah, I just discovered that all of the answers that I needed weren't in that model, and I decided I would go and explore, make healing a full-time job of mine, and go and explore all the other possibilities out there. And I discovered holistic well-being modalities. And just one day, flicking through Facebook, and I feel like the universe gave me a clue. Up came your course, and for nature-based therapy, and something inside of me was ignited and piqued my interest. And I thought, oh, maybe I need to go and explore this. So made contact with you, and I was so happy that I got to go into the course. I was accepted into the course, and then lockdown happened, and I discovered, being just within the confines of my yard, um, was fine, because I had now, through your course, learning all these different healing tools, such as nature-based mindfulness, the nature-based creative arts, etc., that we were doing. I learnt all these tools and skills, and I was just pottering around at home, enjoying them, growing personally as well as thriving in that time. And I remember looking around at all the people that I knew, and they weren't they weren't enjoying lockdown as much as me. And I, at that point, thought, this is something I need to share. When people get out of lockdown, getting them back immersing in nature is going to be so important for them to heal from the ordeal that they've been through. Let's face it, it wasn't an easy time for anybody. And people had to do homeschooling. Essential workers still had to go to work, and a lot of people had business issues as well during that time. So I thought, I am going to share it with people who need this afterwards.
I
It really
love
gave me
that.
another purpose, and I love the course so much. It was life changing.
Oh, that's really good to hear. Really valuable feedback. And I think, just reflecting on what you've been saying, that childhood experience and then moving that kind of, you became attuned to the natural world at a very young age, and then you merged that into traveling and accessing nature while you traveled. And then it led into accessing nature and attuning to nature more through your work and working with nature as therapist and teacher to support you through those times of stress and burnout. And then lockdown and accessing nature through your own front yard and backyard. And, nature, you don't have to go to nature. Nature's all around us. And I think that's the
Mm,
importance um,
mm,
for people, is to let people know that nature, we can never bring nature in. We're like with our pot plants and, different ways we can bring nature in, which is what we learn as well. And I think that those experiences in life, from very early childhood to traveling to your career, and then lockdown, and having that space to embed that experience into your purpose, and realizing, aha, finding the course, and then finding out, it's
mhm,
helped me, so now I want to help other people. And so
mm,
now, in the present moment, how do you practice nature-based therapy, both personally and professionally, like for your own self-care? And also, yeah, how do you bring that into your work?
mm. Well, thanks for summarizing my life story in that way. It's not often that you reflect on the whole journey, but I definitely do feel like I'm on the right path now. That the way that I live, I guess, personally and professionally, creating a business that is not only beneficial to share with other people, but is nurturing and nourishing me at the same time, and sustaining my own mental and physical health, is how I've done it. So yeah, I guess, with what I personally do in my life is I love mindful nature walks. So when I go walking, I don't have headphones on. I'm not listening to anything else. I'm not bringing more information into my head. I'm actually giving my brain, in a way, and my nervous system a chance to have a break and reset by incorporating mindfulness. And a lot of people can benefit from this practice of mindfulness on their walks, and making it a more therapeutic, I guess, well-being initiative into their daily lifestyles, if they know how to do it. And that's the problem. And that's my passion, is to bring and share the education around how to do it, the practical skills, instead of I guess, pills. Pills aren't always an answer. Maybe so in the short term, but not in the long term. And a lot of people aren't taught how to get into a mindful state. And that is I guess, my specialty and my passion. And once I teach people that, they then go off and practice. And if they do it regularly enough, it becomes second nature, and it then becomes an inbuilt stress management tool that they have at their disposal. And I do honestly believe that stress and burnout from work, the antidote is nature and getting back out into the green spaces. After being stuck indoors in lockdown, as well as having my experiences of working at a desk in an office in a stressful, busy environment, I know how good it feels, even if it's 5 minutes. If that's all you've got, a micro break in your lunchtime, go outside, step away from your desk and don't eat at your desk, go and sit
Mm,
outside
yes.
and just take that moment to recharge.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you do, because this is really important. And this is very different to like sometimes mainstream healthcare, or the biomedical approach is, we go for therapy and we sit in a session and we do the therapy session. But what you're doing is you're having a therapy session with someone, right?
Mm,
But you're teaching them a skill that they can integrate into their everyday life. It's They don't have to just do this just once a week or once a fortnight when they meet with you. You're actually teaching them a skill to resource them to find their own inner way and means, to work with nature as teacher and therapist. And I think this is crucial when we're looking at mental health care, that people have their own inner healing intelligence, and we're supporting them to be able to access that. And we're doing that in collaboration with the natural world. But we're planting the seed and we're facilitating that, because we can be in nature when we're walking with our headphones on and our shoes on, but we're not being with nature. And I think that's the difference with, what is nature therapy? It's being with nature, and it's being attuned and really connected, because, that goes back to Indigenous philosophies, that we are nature. We're not separate from the natural world. And I think this is key in what we're actually really doing as well. And so, what are your hopes? We're talking about nature therapy, and we're integrating that into healthcare, but should healthcare be integrating into nature-based therapy? And working in collaboration with each other is so important, having these two systems functioning together. What are your hopes for nature-based therapy for the future?
yeah, I would definitely love to see collaboration between both, and particularly the medical side of things, accepting and supporting their patients to other options other than the standard pills for these problems. Because look, if we can learn skills to manage our stress, you often don't need that. Um, so if people aren't taught these things, I know I wasn't taught any of these things, and it's only through my own healing journey that I've discovered how effective that mindfulness and other stress management tools and regulation tools are. And so I combine both of them and teach the practical side of things, making it into an enjoyable learning experience outdoors in nature. But I'm also going to bring these experiences indoors as well, because that's where all the stressed people are, sitting at their desks every day. So a corporate approach will be coming soon. Um, yeah, but I just think when we arm people with options as well as empower them with skills, then that's going to lead to better health outcomes. And I would like to see, uh, like doctors, for example, say, how often, when was the last time you went into nature? And if it
Mm,
was like, oh, well, I go once a year on a holiday, it might be to a lake, a beach, or go camping 1 week a year. And that does actually really help. But that's just not enough. We can't sustain our well-being the entire year if we don't bring in smaller immersions. And I guess that's what I try and teach people, is that these little skills you can implement daily on your dog walk. Yes, it's lovely going out for a walk outdoors. You're going to get physical and mental benefits, but if you can actually utilize some of these other skills on the way, it's more therapeutic, and it will keep your or manage your stress levels instead of it, you know, becoming so depleted during the year and then having to pick yourself up. Your holidays are meant to be enjoying yourself instead of uh, putting yourself on a retreat so that you can
mm.
heal and recover so you can get back into it next year. So yeah, it is all about those daily, if not weekly, if not fortnightly, immersions out in nature.
Mhm.
And that is my mission, to share just that major epiphany that I've discovered.
Yeah, for yourself and for your own journey as well. And
Mm,
you mentioned GPs as well. So we have, nature-based social prescribing programs in different countries like Japan and Scotland and Canada. So Canada, British Columbia was the first country to bring in a registered nature-based social prescribing program. It started off in one state and now it's been rolled out over the whole country. And I think this is so innovative, and Australia has a lot to learn from this. And through a nature-based therapy foundation health promotion charity that I've recently established, our plan is to roll out a nature-based social prescribing program where we're encouraging healthcare professionals to refer patients and clients to programs just like yours, Peter, to say,
mm,
let's ask the question, how much time do you spend in nature, when we're going through assessments and we're getting to know, even in a first visit or second visit, just asking that question. And
mm,
then prescribing nature, having a prescription. And Richard Louv, who's the author of Last Child in the Woods and the founder of the Child in Nature Network over in America, coined the term nature deficit disorder. And I think it goes in line with your term of the merry-go-round as well. And that looking at the nature deficit disorder is actually a thing, I think, especially with young children now. And also everyone since COVID, we mentioned COVID, everything's gone online now. Everyone
mm,
has meetings online, everyone's inside. And so I think it's not just young people getting nature deficit disorder from the introduction
mm,
of technologies at such a young age now, but it's also since COVID and lockdowns and the transference of, meeting in person to being online, that this is
Mm.
such a thing, and we need to prescribe more nature. We need to bring, the future of nature-based therapy, as you mentioned, is integrating this into our healthcare system. And so, um, in my final question to you, how do you work with nature to support other people?
Yeah, so as I said, I've actually been in this business now for this is coming on to my fourth year. Although I was just had a rebrand to Nature Zen from into the wild nature therapy for certain reasons, but I've just seen the impact, the amazing transformations people can have in such a short period of time out in nature, and mm, that's basically been through the individual programs that I run. So I take somebody out into the forest for 2 to 3 hours, but we've done a holistic assessment beforehand, and I've created a green prescription that's customized to their exact goals and needs, and then through the use of different activities, allow them to have learning experience that is. We never know where it's going to go, but always people walk out of that forest, better for it. So I do that. I'll always continue to do that to whoever needs it. It won't be my main focus, however, because I really do enjoy the group work as well. I've worked with some homeschooling kids recently, and kids are truly amazing. They have that natural, innate ability to quickly learn these nature-based therapy skills. So whether that be, mindfulness in nature or art, etc., they just they love it. So I truly feel like that's more play than work. Also, people can utilize my skills through my new corporate programs that I have, which I intend to take into, I guess, their working space. I would love to see people laying down, but I provide the nature theme and the inspiration to do my Nature Zen. It's my signature program where they learn or be guided through a meditation with that's nature inspired and nature themed. Plus, also I've got Nature Chi. I have collaborated with Stephen Matarolo, who's also a nature-based therapist and Qigong instructor. He'll come along and also add both of those modalities together for Nature Chi. And my Nature Ink, which is nature journaling, which is suitable for literally anybody, and also my nature art, which, as you know, I what I like to do is go on walks, collect flowers, seeds, etc., and then co-create with nature and make a beautiful piece of artwork with those things. So I'll also offer that as well, and a few other things. I like to do also the retreats as well, work with charities, obviously people who work for others, the essential workers is a real passion of mine
Mm,
to be able to support them. Not many, who cares for the carers, basically. And I actually have had psychologists come into the forest with me because who looks after them? I'm open to anybody,
mm,
because this modality really does work with the masses. And
mm.
yeah.
Absolutely, because we are nature. Again, we're not
Mm.
separate from the natural world, and so everyone can access nature therapy and get the benefits from it. And I love that, the offerings that you have, the meditation, the mindfulness, the journaling, and the creative arts, these are all interventions that people can do when they're not in session with you or they're not in retreat with you, that they can integrate these, they can learn them, share these with their family, share them with their loved ones, It's like, oh,
Mm,
look what I learned to do today. I can do, I learned how to just be in nature and connect with nature through my senses, and to do some journaling. And so it's almost like a ripple effect, that you're not just touching an individual, but the interventions you're using in nature-based therapy are able to be dispersed amongst, other people, family, community as
mm,
well. And that it's an intervention that can be used every day to sustain well-being. It's not something that's just visited each time you see um, yourself, nature-based therapist, but we're teaching skills to be able to be implemented on a daily basis, and almost implemented as part of a self-care routine.
mm,
Think, we mentioned self-care is so important, especially for healthcare professionals. Self-care is
mm,
so important for first responders.
mm,
And who cares for the carers? I love that. And
mm.
it's so important to have that
Yeah.
available for people.
Yeah, I've just also finished and released an online learning product for the early years industry, or the of the early years educators who who do need that mindfulness and stress management training, because it's such a busy and important role looking after and educating young children, and it is amazing to be able to share those practical tools that they can then obviously lead and share with the young ones as well. And a lot of my work has been with parents and teachers, because that's who we need to be able to role model a
Mhm.
different way of being. Instead of the go go go, that's all good and well. We do need to be able to do that, but we need to also self care and have a plan to regularly switch off, because if we don't do that, you will lead to long term mental, psychological, and physical damage. And I guess I know that all too well, which is why with my story, it's super impactful
Mhm.
um, as well. Like I've gone and got this PhD from the stress school of life.
I love that. Absolutely. I think,
Yeah,
you're just a living example of what can be achieved when we connect with nature as a healing resource, and really, where you've come from in your journey, and now what you're offering other people is a testament to how nature therapy works. You're living
thank
and
you.
breathing it. You haven't gone to university to study it. It's not
No,
important to have, you've got the lived experience and what you're wanting to share with other people, which is so valuable. And this
thank
is
you, Kit.
something you can teach other people. And, it's accessible for everyone. So, yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much for sharing your story, and also sharing your offerings. And if anyone's wanting to get in touch with you, we will have a link up where people can access your contact details and have a look at your offerings. And is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, one final thing, please. We just need to. I guess we can't beat technology. It's here. It's here to stay. Unfortunately, that is the reality. But we always worry about what percentage our phone is on, don't we? We we look at it all day. Oh no, it's getting a bit low. Well, how about we also reflect and do that for ourselves and our own energy? So when it's getting a bit low, no, I need a self care tool now. I'm going to go out into nature and just sit. I don't need to do anything. Nature is free, it's accessible. I don't actually need to put the phone on and do a meditation. I can just go out, get to the point where you've got the skill, you can go sit outside and put yourself in back into a or reset your own nervous system is an amazing thing, which I wish I had have known before what happened to me, because it
Mm.
never would have happened. So this is
Mhm.
the way that we get to work with technology, but not have it be harmful to our own health.
Absolutely. And it's about recharging, isn't it? Which is kind of a slogan that you have for your work that
Yeah,
you're doing.
yeah. I was trying to come up with a tagline, and that's what it is. It's time to recharge with nature.
Love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Peter, for your time today and sitting here with me and having a conversation about nature and how it's been really beneficial for your own personal life and now how you're sharing that with other people. And yeah, I hope you get some time to get outside today. And I think you are outside today
Mhm.
because I can see we are actually doing this conversation where you are in nature. And I love that. So thank you.
Look, even if you can't get into nature, you can make it appear like you're in nature.
Yes.
But I will be going out later and going down to the Redlands, which is by the bay.
Ah,
And I just can't wait to take off my shoes, walk on the sand,
beautiful.
and experience. It's like sensory experience.
I wish I
Mm.
could come and be there with you, but I'll go and have my own experience here as well.
Yeah, but thank you, Kit, for having me on, and also being my mentor and teacher. Because if it wasn't for your course, then I wouldn't actually have discovered my purpose and my passion. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing and helping people in a different way. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
You are very welcome. Thank you. Lovely to chat with you and
You too.
goodbye.
See you later. Bye.